Hello.
You
And
kind of caught me off
welcome
guard
in.
there. That was good. That was good.
Welcome in to another episode of Farm to Fame, Week 9, baby. We're talking about Alek Manoah debut today. We're hitting on our top 10 prospects. What the heck and Bob is going on in the NL East? Peter's going to talk about his opinion on that and some injury updates. A good injury update. I'm Kelsey Winger. We got Peter Moylan. We got Maddie Mass. I have questions for each of you.
Good. Fire away, sister. Go.
Peter Moylan just worked your tailbone off.
Correct.
The ACC tournament. And now you get to breathe.
Can confirm. But I did pick up another couple of games this week, so not quite just yet. So yeah,
well,
I'm almost at the end. But it's been a tough week. The ACC tournament was fun. Got to see some good quality baseball. Duke won for the first time since, Maddie, correct me, 1961. Won. Good memory. So that seems to be working today, which is good for the pod. But yeah, it was a great tournament. I had to do all 3 games on Friday. So that was the first time that I had worked
such
3
tough prep
baseball games in one day on teams that I essentially didn't know a lot about. So it was I learned a lot about these guys and the way that it all works. And obviously today is the announcement, the first announcement for the bracket for the NCAA tournament at noon today. So a lot of teams on the bubble are probably sitting around watching that. But yeah, amazing week. Charlotte was an amazing host. I keep using the word amazing, but that's pretty much how it was.
Charlotte's such a good city.
Oh, the AAA ballpark there is so clean. It's the view is like Pittsburgh, so it's you're sitting in the press box and you're just basically staring out into the night sky and the skyline, and it's just it's a beautiful ballpark, and everybody that seems to work there are very friendly and got that little southern charm about it, and I had a really good time. That's
so great. Are there any were there any guys there this weekend who were
plenty There's a couple of guys that probably lifted their stocks this week too. I mean, so many guys. Pitching, a couple of guys from Louisville were just lights out, like high velo guys.
Oh, did you get to see Henry Davis?
I didn't see Henry. You didn't see. You just drop a name on me. There was how many names there were that I went through this week?
Yeah, probably.
Who does he play for?
Louisville.
Okay. Yeah, he was money. Catcher from Duke, switching catcher from Duke was incredible. But yeah, just good quality baseball, good defenders, aggressive. A lot of first pitch of the game swings, which I kept track of. Better baseball experience than I was expecting. I'll be honest.
Good. Proud of you.
Thank you,
Maddie Mass. I know you're not in the office right now, but how is the overall morale? Because John declared death to any team swept by the Tigers.
Yeah.
And the Yankees were swept by the Tigers.
So the Yankees, I think, are dead. No. I don't. As a Yankees fan, I'm extremely disappointed in the way that they managed that series.
Whoa, hot takes.
And just sitting a lot of guys that should be out there, especially in the bullpen. It could be a very scary week.
Yeah.
If they, God forbid, were to lose the Rays and the Red Sox series.
Not great, man.
No. Terrible.
The Rays are going to be tough. That's not like they're struggling at the moment. So, and the Red Sox are the hottest, were, but I mean, they're still in first place. Well, yeah. No, they're not. They won. Actually, Tampa's in first place. So good luck, you guys.
No, yeah. Tampa's won like 11 of 12.
Yeah, geez. They're 9-1 in their last 10, the Rays.
Yeah. Good luck. Well,
that's the hottest team in baseball right now.
Well, it is not the hottest team, according to Peter, who has the Giants up top.
Team of the week.
One time. Team of the week.
Yeah. And
an honorable mention. Honorable mention to the D-backs. Old school Diamondbacks hat, by the way.
Jake Snakes.
The Jake Snakes. Although they did struggle since they were named the Jake Snakes. So maybe he should take full responsibility for the lack of wins.
But they finally won. They finally won.
Well done, Jake Snakes.
Do you know what I think the Diamondbacks and the Yankees could use?
Like everyone?
Win Reality. They are sponsoring this week's episode once again. And if you missed it last week, Win Reality is super cool. And Yankees and D-backs, Jake Snakes, we have a code that you guys could use. I know y'all can probably afford it, but we do have a code that you guys could use to get a free month, and it's code FARM. So Win Reality is used by Arkansas, who, if you missed it, just won the SEC tournament. They're also number 1 in the country. Vanderbilt, who is a powerhouse, uses
Reasonable.
Tennessee, who was in the SEC championship game and lost to Arkansas, and I know they're hosting a regional. I don't know if they're national seed. Mississippi State, who has a 6 stadium. Texas, I don't know anything about Texas baseball, so sorry. And TCU, who's usually pretty good. I don't know anything about UT. Don't look at me like that, Peter.
Where are you from again?
I'm from Sugar Land, Texas, baby.
Okay.
281-330-8004.
This is what I'm saying, okay?
Yep.
You pitchers that have had the advantage for the last 18 months to 2 years since the analytics and everything else has entered this baseball game that we love so much. Take advantage, because Win Reality is coming and we're not going to have the advantage anymore. I keep naming myself as a pitcher. Up here, I'm a shortstop. I keep telling you that. Deep down, I'm still a shortstop that couldn't hit.
Well, you could hit if you used Win Reality. So,
no kidding.
But essentially, it provides baseball and softball players with virtual training. So own the batter's box, recognize the pitch type sooner, and refine your timing.
I love it.
All of this is possible thanks to our dear friends at Win Reality. Legitimately, this is how like the top players in college baseball are training. So like, why wouldn't you do it? We have a code. If you use the code FARM, and you get a free month, a whole month. So you can head to winreality.com. Again, use the code FARM to train free for your first month.
I'm convinced.
Winreality.com FARM.
This is effectively a baseball simulator without having to build $30,000 worth of baseball simulation around you. Take advantage, guys. And I'm actually going to be on their podcast tomorrow. So,
sick.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I'm
cool.
on the Win Reality podcast, 10 a.m. tomorrow. So I will be. That's all I'm going to say. Every answer to every question is going to be farm to fame. So, Peter, talk to us about when you first came to America. Farm to fame.
Well, I was farming, and then I just farmed my way
to fame.
Okay, so Win Reality is sponsoring today's episode. Thank you. Our opener segment today, Alek Manoah debut. That was a fun one. I know you guys saw the video on Twitter of his mom.
Yes.
I know you did.
Yes.
Homie went 6 shutty versus the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, which was more impressive before the Yankees got swept by the Tigers. But still, to go into Yankee Stadium, I mean, I can't imagine making your debut there against the Yankees. 6 shutty, 7 Ks, big guy, 6'6", big guy, chains. Second player from that 2019 draft to debut in the show. The first one obviously being Andrew Vaughn, but Alek is the first pitcher. Peter, tell us about your bat.
Well, this is the Mother's Day bat because obviously there's a very special connection between Manoah and his mom. And I'll touch on that a little bit afterwards, but I'll just go back to, he was a two-way player in high school, hit 492 in high school with 5 home runs and 32 RBIs down at South Dade High School in Florida. Wasn't even drafted out of high school, so went to West Virginia, where he was named on the Big Ten all-freshman team in 2017. As a sophomore, he only went 3-5 with a 4 ERA, right? Struggled with his command. 2019, wins the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, went 9-4 with a 208, 144 punch-outs in 108 innings. So that obviously turned things around a little bit for
Yeah.
him. Loses 2020 to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes back and makes his debut in 2021. We always talk about the guys that make leaps and bounds during the COVID year. So he was in college in 2019. He's in the show in 2021, and he loses 2020. So he's really had a handful of starts in the minor leagues. But that's not the cool story. The cool story for me is the connection and the personality that he has, right? So this hits me because I was a guy that grew up. My parents were divorced at the age of 12. I watched my mom struggle through a number of jobs. She would work at a bank as a bank teller all day. She would feed me. She would then put me to bed, and then she would go and pack shelves at a grocery store all night. And then she would come home in the morning and she would do it all again. So I know how much sacrifice that it takes to get to where you're going when you don't come from a lot of money, or even if you do come from money. It's a lot of time that people sacrifice. So to see the reward on not only his face, but his mum's face, that was the story for me. And it's all come to a head. Obviously, this isn't the be all and end all. He knows the meaning of hard work. He knows what it takes to sacrifice and get to places. So shout out to you, Alek Manoah. Awesome dude. Keep doing what you're doing. He also did say at one point, so everything that I've read talks about how such an amazing person that he is.
Yeah.
And one quote from a couple of weeks ago was step on their throat and twist or something like that. So he's got a little bit of the gamesmanship about him, but does it at the right time. So
and he had a lot of like on Twitter. I mean, I know specifically Tougie Toussaint, but he had a lot of players around the league who were really excited for, like, it seems like he's just really popular amongst other players and other organizations. But so he, like you said, was undrafted out of high school, and his first 2 years out of the bullpen, like we mentioned, he went to Cape Cod in 2018, which we know is arguably the best summer league for college baseball players. And that like really sprung him into a dominant junior season. And then he went 11th overall by the Blue Jays. But you were mentioning how crazy his climb, and I don't even want to call it a climb. I'm calling it a puddle jump to the major leagues. He only had 35 minor league innings. Yeah. He made 6 starts in 2019 in low A, and he went 0-1 with a 2.65 ERA. And then, like you said, COVID cancels 2020. And then he made 3 AAA starts this year and pitched to a 0.5 ERA. He went 3-0, 27 strikeouts.
That'll get you noticed. Get you noticed.
He's expected to start again on Wednesday. The Blue Jays are moving from Dunedin. See, it's not just names I can't pronounce. It is cities. Dunedin.
Let the Australian work on the pronunciation for you.
Got it. Thank you so much. But they're moving from Florida to Buffalo. That sucks. And they're playing the Marlins, which is fun because Manoah is from the Miami area. So he also had a squad at the game, which was really cool.
He ever?
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of people at the game, so you could see where they were and hear them at every point of that game.
Yeah. So it'll be cool to see what he can do. I mean, he did really well versus the Yankees. The Marlins can't quite figure them out, but it'll be cool for him pitching against the team he probably grew up cheering for. I'm sure his mama will be there. We love you, Mom. That was really cool. The comments he made about his mom after the game. Neat.
We love moms in general.
We do love moms in general. We also love dads. So, Peter, I want to get your take on the NL West because I feel like everybody is just waiting for the Giants to come to
spew on themselves. Yeah.
And they just took 3 of 4 from the Dodgers. You still have our boy, my college classmate,
Kevin
Gausman with a 1.40 ERA in 11 starts this season. He's 6-0. They figured out something with him in San Francisco. Good for them. Very happy for Kevin. But yeah, so the Padres are still in first in the NL West as we record this on Monday. But the Giants just took 3 of 4 from the Dodgers. They're stealing home runs from our guy, Albert Pujols.
I saw that. Mike Tauchman. Could the Yankees use him right now, you think? Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? I saw an unbelievable stat on Twitter the other day, which talked about, they put a value on a single pitch.
Okay.
But that single pitch, but being thrown in the zone. So it's all well and good to have the nastiest pitch in the world, right? But if you can't throw it for a strike and people are just going to take it, then what's the point? I think they talked about his splitter and the fact that the amount of times that he's thrown it in the zone and he's got swings and misses, it added a value to it. And it was the highest valued single pitch in Major League Baseball right now.
Are we talking about Gausman?
Gausman splitter, yeah.
Did he add a pitch this year? Because I feel like when he was with the Braves, that was his biggest,
So he had two changeups when he was here. He had a split and a circle change that he would throw, and then he threw that fastball. But I think all he's really thrown this year is a lot of splits and changeups and fastballs, which is obviously working. Maybe he's gone away from trying to throw some sort of breaking pitch, or they've figured out a combination or a sequence that just seems to work.
This tweet from Sarah Langs is best run value on a single pitch type. Gausman's splitter is at -15 run value, which is second best in the bigs behind Trevor Bauer's four-seamer at -17 run value.
There you go. So I guess in layman's terms, that means that you are 16 runs behind the 8-ball already when he's throwing his split finger. I don't know.
No, it's tough for us to see West Coast games. Have you gotten to watch any of his starts?
I saw him throw 2 starts ago, and the biggest takeaway I got was the confidence that he was walking around the mound with. He was not that guy when he was with the Bravos, and I don't think he was that guy when he was with the Orioles, but he's strutting around. He feels like he's obviously he's done this for more than just a couple of starts now. So he's obviously got into a rhythm. That's the craziest thing, right? We talk about pitching being about confidence and it obviously 100% is, but when you go out there knowing that you've got all your stuff and you're confident and you've got a plan, and what you've done as the plan has been executed for weeks and it's working, there's no better feeling in the world. You go out there, you're not having to mentally think and grind your way through a game. You're like, you know what? This is what I've got. This is what I'm coming with. It's him versus me. Let's go. And the confidence that he's had, that was the biggest takeaway for me, was just.
Yeah. So he was drafted 4th overall in 2012 out of LSU. And my favorite Kevin Gausman story is that he had this insane obsession with powdered donuts. So in the dugout between innings, he would have powdered donuts, and it became
big powdered donuts.
It became this huge story at LSU, and people would have signs. People would bring him powdered donuts. I don't know if he should have eaten or if he did eat the powdered donuts donated by fans, because they might have been powdered in something else. But he loved powdered donuts. So the question I pose to you guys, you're walking into a gas station.
Definitely not powdered donuts.
You're on a road trip. You don't care about health or calories.
Love it.
2 things. I'm buying them. What are you getting?
How long is the road trip?
3 hours. Not bad, but long enough where you want a snack.
Okay, I just
4
did this.
4
I just did this. If I'm being honest, I've got to go a savory and a sweet. Does the 2 items have to include a drink, or do I bring my own water?
No, drinks are separate. These are junk snacks.
Okay.
Or not junk snacks.
I would get a bag of flaming hot Cheetos, and I would also get, I don't know if I want to go candy.
1 eternity later.
I'm thinking about this way too much.
You can't think about it.
Snickers.
Walk into
Snickers. Fine,
okay.
Snickers.
Okay, Matty Mass.
So my favorite road trip snack has always been a Golden Grams cereal bar in the bars section of a convenience store. Granola bars, energy bars.
Okay.
There's Golden Grams cereal has their own granola bar.
Okay.
I've gotten that all the time. And then also, being from the Philly area, I have to say something that's Wawa related.
Wawa!
So my favorite Wawa specific snack is their cream cheese filled soft pretzels that you buy right at the cash register.
That sounds good. I made cream cheese bites for breakfast this morning. My 2 snacks would be Cheeto Puffs and double stuffed Oreos.
Okay. Can I get an Australian specific answer? Because what I would normally go for is not available in this country. Okay. So we have these lollies, these candies called milkshakes, which are just like little white chewable taffy, but they taste like vanilla and sweet. So it's not like that fruity, it's more of a milky. So that would be my definite 100%. I'm into that. And we also have a candy called a peppermint crisp. And you want to talk about, I don't even really like peppermint. But for some reason, I was
going to say that doesn't sound super appealing to me, but if you don't like peppermint, then that kind of shut down my opinion.
It's available in a lot of countries except for the US. So that's what
I wonder why, because I feel like everything available in other countries, especially Australia, is so much better quality than what they give us in America.
Let me show you and we're getting way off topic here, but let me show you what the Australian chocolate section looks like at a regular grocery store. And it is just vibrant color, beautiful.
I'm even thinking about like just health in general there, like sunscreen, skincare, the kind of Australia is just healthy and safer.
So can you see that? That's an Australian chocolate section, right? We've got violet crumbles, we've got cherry ripes, we've got peppermint crisps.
Okay. Last week we got the YouTube video of you making a Shake Shack cheeseburger. This week we get a picture of an Australian convenience store. You love to see it. So, okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about in the opener segment?
All of that is just going to get cut out. Manny Mass is just like,
I want people
5 minutes.
I want people to think
about.
I want people to be answering the question of what the 2 items that they would get.
That's a great question, though. That is a really good question. But I'm confused because every time I walk into a gas station in the US, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not great, but like you'll walk into Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is opening in August in Calhoun, and you're going to walk into there and you're going to be like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Buc-ee's is a cult. You can get any homemade fudge, homemade beef jerky, homemade potato chips. You can get hot meals, hot breakfast, hot lunch, hot dinner. You can get anything you want. You can get barbecue, anything you want. Anyway, predict the NL West right now. Who's going to win it?
San Diego.
Oh, who's coming in second?
Little Dodgers.
Okay, so you think the Giants are going to kind of trickle down?
Well, I think they may get a wild card spot. I think both wild card spots might come from the West.
Okay, Kevin Gausman's ERA at All-Star break.
What is it right now?
140.
2-2.
Okay.
Still beautiful. Very good.
Yeah.
Still very good.
Anything else you guys want to talk about in the opener segment? I think you had something, Peter.
Yes, I do. I wanted to reach on Frank Mozzicato. Okay, you may not have heard of that name. I had not heard of that name. MLB's top 150 hadn't heard of that name. But all this kid's done in the last 4 games is throw 4 straight no-hitters.
What?
To touch on something a little bit earlier, the game before that was a shutout.
What's his name?
Frank Mozzicato. Monday's game, he had 19 punch-outs, bringing his season total to 101 in 42 innings. The last batter to record a hit against him was April 26th. He was unranked in the top 150 before the season, and he's now ranked number 51. So,
jeez,
you want to add some value to your stock out there? Throw 4 consecutive no-hitters. That'll probably get some attention. But he went and worked with Cristian in the offseason.
Yeah, that's
so
sick.
He lifted his velo up a little bit, and he's now dominating. But that's I don't care what level of baseball you're playing at, unless you're playing at a level that you shouldn't be. Like if you're a big leaguer playing against little leaguers, then maybe that shouldn't affect it. But if you're playing against the right age group and you're throwing 4 complete no-hitters, then you're doing something right. Congratulations to you, Frankie boy.
I guess, I'm pretty sure you said this, and I think I just zoned out, that he's in high school. I know you said that. Yeah. So high school just plays 7-inning games. When you were talking about 4 consecutive no-hitters, I was thinking about Jack Leiter throwing like 124 pitches in the 9-inning complete game no-hitter. And I was like, they're going to tear his arm off. But if he's worked with Cressy, I remember when Soroka first hurt his shoulder in 19 and went and worked or 18 and went and worked with Cressy. And he had to he took a weeks-long class on shoulder health and learning all about his shoulder injury. So
yeah,
that guy he's good if he's with Cressy. That's a very good story. Way to go, Peter.
Thank you.
It is now time for our Rookie of the Year watch, our top 10 prospects, and it is brought to you by Sports Management Worldwide. So I've heard them talk about this sponsor on Talkin' Baseball, and I mean, I think of my boyfriend Casey would love something like this because in his mind, when he was growing up, he wanted to be a general manager. He wanted to be a GM for a team. He wanted to be a John Schuerholz. And this essentially can like train you to do that. And you can study really whatever you want for different sports. But at Sports Management Worldwide, they train you to be an MLB agent, an MLB scout, an associate scout, a bird dog scout. I don't know what that is. What's a bird dog scout?
One that will go and look and then bring the more, I guess, not more qualified, but the scout that has more signability, someone that can come in and actually sign. That's my guess.
Okay.
It's like we're doing American lingo right now.
Yeah.
We're doing American lingo.
It could also train you to be a sports broadcaster, the analytics go-to guy, sports gambling expert, or someday the GM or manager, you name it. If it's on the business side of sports, you can make money doing that. And we know that here at Farm to Fame because we're doing that. They have a training program for essentially any job you could want within sports. And they match you with a mentor, which is really cool. So guys like Dan Duquette, a 3-time GM. He was with the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Expos. He's in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. Dan Evans, former GM of the Dodgers. Hank Jones, a 40-year scout. Could not imagine doing that job for 40 years. Good for him. Oscar Suarez, a lifetime MLB agent. They just take you under their wing and they teach you what you need to know in order to get hired. So the courses are 8 weeks long. They're online and they give you the what you know and the who you know to get your dream sports job. So they offer several 8-week online baseball courses, including baseball player development course with Dan Duquette. So you'd learn the techniques that they use in the professional front offices to mold their players and to unlock their full potential. Baseball agent course with Oscar Suarez, like we said, requires an eye for scouting, the personality for recruiting, and the brain power.
Any powders?
Powder for negotiation. There's a baseball GM and scouting course with Dan Evans. And of course, there's the baseball analytics course, which I feel like anybody, especially in our profession, would benefit from as well, because analytics is becoming so popular and it's very difficult. That's with Ari Kaplan. And the Royals manager, Mike Matheny, actually took that class, and you learn MLB analytics and data science with Ari Kaplan. So at Sports Management Worldwide, they know who is hiring and when they are hiring and what teams look for in a new hire. So whether you already work in the game, you want to work in the game, Sports Management Worldwide has over 35 online courses to advance your sport business career.
I love it. Okay. Couple things.
Yep.
When parents ask me what's the one thing that you would recommend to my child, I always say play multiple sports. When my baseball career was over, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know whether I wanted to go into media. I started to do the media thing. I didn't know how comfortable I was doing it. And then I started thinking maybe I want to become a coach. So had I known about this, I probably would have gone straight to them and said, okay, let me just see what courses suit. But instead I spent months and months and months and months and months trying to find places where I can learn this stuff so I don't sound like a complete fool when I'm talking about analytics on television. So my point is, you don't have to be an expert in one thing. Learn lots about lots of things. That way you can spread yourself as wide as you want to go. Right?
Well-rounded.
Well-rounded, exactly. So that's my advice to you guys. Take it or leave it. Well done for them. I love that. I love this company.
So you can apply free at smww.com and use the discount code JOHNBOY for $50 off the course of your choice. Like I said, they offer courses in baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, rugby, cricket, Peter. and even racing. So like we said, they will help you get into the profession that you want. So apply free at smww.com and use the discount John Boy for $50 off the course of your choice. Awesome. Okay, so Rookie of the Year watch. Let's start off with Adolis Garcia. We have talked about him every week. I feel like a lot of these guys went 0 on Sunday, which kind of like killed some of their numbers. Not killed some of the numbers, but
well, let me say it because I don't even talk about the offers. I just talk about the good stuff.
Go ahead.
Okay.
One time, Adolis Garcia.
Right. Adolis Garcia, 7 hits for the week, 4 RBIs. Also robbed Mitch Haniger of a homer in Seattle.
He did that.
Brings his season total to 286, 16 home runs, 41 RBIs, and a 149 OPS plus. He also has a 2.2 WAR on the year. So you want to talk about a guy who is lifting their stocks. Adolis Garcia keeps doing it, keeps doing it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to sort of, we got to pitch around him. Don't let him beat us. He's still getting pitches to hit and he's taking advantage of it. So Adolis.
Go ahead and take a gander at his baseball savant page. It's stupid.
It's red. Is it red
it's
glowing?
It's stupid. Go bring it up right now. It's stupid. So like Peter said, 16 home runs. That's tied for the lead in Major League Baseball. Again, we say this every single week. His season didn't start until April 13th. I'm going to pound that into your head until you remember that. 2 weeks less than everybody else. Tied for the MLB lead in home runs with Slim Daddy Vladdy. He has the 4th most RBI in MLB. Peter said that is 41. And his 11 home runs broke the club record for home hits.
That's a new one.
Home run hits by a rookie in a single month. What?
No, I love it. We're just making up our own baseballisms.
It's the 2nd most home runs ever by a Ranger in the month of May. Did you look at his baseball savant page?
I'm looking at it right now. It's glowing.
It's stupid. Oh, it's stupid.
It's glowing with redness.
He's had a really good month of May. He's hitting .312 with 11 home runs and 27 RBI, but we're in June now. So good month of May. Adolis Garcia is still tearing it up.
While we're on the American League, shall we go Yermin watching? Yeah. Okay.
Yermin.
He had an okay week. I mean, it made the highlight reels, obviously. Hit another 3-0 homer.
Yeah.
So that was what everyone was talking about because, well, obvious reasons. But 4 hits, 4 RBIs for the week. He's batting .320. So when you look at that, you go, oh, it's only .320. He was batting .400 for a while, and then he went down to .380. And so this is just, and then you've got to be basically going 2 for 4 for a whole year to keep the average of .400. So .320 is still fantastic. The thing that is a little, not worrying, but Adolis Garcia is a 2.2 WAR. Yermin is only 1.1. The value that he's bringing to that team isn't quite what Adolis is bringing, but I just think for what he's done for the first part of this year as a guy that wasn't expected to do anything, we're going to keep watching. I hope he keeps going.
When it comes to the White Sox, all we were talking about when the season started was how many guys they lost to injuries. And they have put together an incredible season so far. They're leading their division by 3.5 games. They're 32-20, and they're missing some of their key guys. And
most of them.
Yeah. So even though Yermin has cooled off, he provided that spark and that confidence at the beginning of the season that if they wouldn't have had somebody step up, they would have just gotten all of their boxers and jock straps in a wad because they were woe is me. But he sparked, and this is obviously a complete theory, but he sparked them. Also, the home run that he hit on the 3-0 count was 116.8 miles per hour off the bat. I think Sarah Langs tweeted this. That is the White Sox hardest hit home run tracked by StatCast. So he ranks in the 99th percentile in max exit velocity and 6th percentile in hard hit percentage. So Yermin Mercedes slowing down a ton. Like Peter said, only 4 hits this week and 25 at bats, but he really helped that team when they needed it. So, but I still think Adolis Garcia is over him. Another guy to hit on with the White Sox while we're there is Andrew Vaughn. I do not consider him to be in the Rookie of the Year watch, but he definitely was in the talks of it. He's hitting .226 with 4 home runs on the season. But this week he had 6 hits, 1 home run, 2 doubles, 2 RBI, and 2 multi-hit games.
He also took Chapman deep just the day before we recorded. He for a game tying placata that went right center. That was pretty. So Chapman has basically been the overlord of closing baseball games for this year, and so to see him do that. We talked about his hit tool in our earlier episode, and I think he's finally getting comfortable. And I think this week was a bit of a breakout week from him. And he did go deep for a go-ahead home run against St. Louis the day after. So earlier in the week, showed out.
Yeah.
Came back down to earth a little bit towards the end of the week, but Andrew Vaughn was a massive part of their plans at the start of the year. So the fact that he's starting to hit as well, and they're in first place.
Yeah.
And they've dealt with the injuries that they've dealt with, but everybody's dealt with injuries. So the depth that they've shown, the depth that the White Sox team club has shown, to still be 12 games over 500 and 3.5 games up, like good on them.
And the refresher, if you guys forgot that we said this literally 25 minutes ago, he was drafted 3rd overall in 2019. So he was the first player out of the 2019 draft. The first, did I say first? To debut. So again, he didn't play last year. And he's up in the show. Only other AL guy, super slow week, but we haven't mentioned him in this yet, and I feel like it's a disservice. Randy Arozarena for the Rays. He had a slow week, only 4 hits and 25 at bats, but we saw what he did in the postseason last year, and we know he can probably turn that on at any time. So I just feel like we need to mention him.
Could be 2 members that could have been on the St. Louis Cardinals.
So insane. They were roommates when they played for the Cardinals, and now. Crazy. He and Adolis are just off in their own worlds.
Do you want me to hit on the NL real quick? Ian had a bit of a clunker, so I wasn't going to talk about Ian. I was going to talk about Rogers. So last Monday had his worst start of the year. Went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks. But that was the second time that he'd faced Philly in back-to-back starts. So the advantage for me goes to the hitters, but still, only give up 1 earned run against a team you've seen back-to-back. Fantastic. Worst start of the year, 1 run.
Did you see that he only had 5 strikeouts, so it ruined our streak that we talk about every week?
Yes, he's basically ruined our podcast. So, Trevor, thanks for that. And then Saturday at Boston, 6 innings, 9 hits. So a lot of hits, but only 2 runs and 6 punch-outs again. So on the season, he's now 6-3 with a 1.87 ERA, 76 punchies in 62 and 2/3 innings, and a 1.1 whip. So again, not only Rookie of the Year watch, Cy Young watch.
And you talk about the 9 hits. That was a season high for him that he gave up against the Red Sox. But we also must remember that Boston entered that game leading MLB in runs scored and extra base hits. So they're swinging it.
To him to limit the damage, it's a great job.
So, and here was a interesting stat about Trevor Rogers that I saw on Twitter. First of all, I just want to, you glazed over this. 11 starts in and Trevor Rogers has a 1.87 ERA. 11 starts into the season.
Oh, I didn't glaze over it.
Pretty stinking good.
Let's hear.
A stat that I saw on Twitter by Fish and Whips, 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 Fish and Whips. They cover the Marlins. Trevor Rogers, in his 3 losses on the year, he's given up 7 earned runs in 15 innings to a 3.94 ERA. I feel like a lot of teams would take a guy with a 3.94 ERA, and that's what he's pitching to in his losses. In his 6 wins, he's thrown 37 and 2/3 innings and given up 3 earned runs for an ERA of 0.91. Still leads NL rookies in wins with 6, strikeouts with 76, and innings pitched. So Trevor Rogers, we're going to keep talking about him. His teammate, Jazz Chisholm, our guy. It's time for our king. Is hurt again. He's hurt again. He has a mild right ankle strain. It happened on Tuesday. He hasn't played since. He did take BP, jogged on the field on Friday in Fenway. He didn't play Saturday. Sunday, they were rained out. In the game he got hurt in on Tuesday, he was 2 for 3 with a stolen base. Also, if you did not see the pictures of Jazz Chisholm in the Green Monster, it's amazing. There was also a good article that came out by Christina De Nicola. She works for MLB.com covering the Marlins, and it talked about the back history of a lot of the players from the Bahamas. That is where Jazz Chisholm is from. But she had mentioned in her show that I guess Fenway was where he like decided that he was going to be a major leaguer.
Wow.
He said he had just watched Brock Holt and the Red Sox play at Fenway Park, and the bright lights and big stage had painted a clear vision. I'm going to play in the big league. So he enjoyed his time in the Green Monster that day. Another interesting storyline surrounding Jazz Chisholm is that our coworker, Miguel Rojas, is hurt. He hurt his finger.
Oh, no.
Jazz has been playing second day every day. What is wrong with me? Second base every day. He's a natural shortstop, but Miggy, like we said, is hurt. He's going to be out for a little bit longer. So whenever Jazz comes back, he's expected to shift over to shortstop. But yeah, he's hurt, but he's day to day. He's not on the IL. So hopefully he'll be back today. I haven't seen their lineup.
While we're talking about injuries, I'll go to Pache. He was held out from his rehab start because of discomfort again.
Yeah, he didn't play Saturday or Sunday.
No, so he's slated to start on Tuesday. This could end up being something that drags out. And
is it discomfort in his hamstring still?
Hamstring and groin, they couldn't be specific. Okay. So, this could be a reset button for me. This could be just take the time, get yourself 100%. There's no point rushing back. If you're just going to keep doing this same thing and then struggle, I'd rather see him get himself to where he's 100% healthy, play 15, 20 games in AAA, and get himself to where he feels confident, comfortable. He was 7 for 63 in 22 games. It's 111 leading up to this, and he's 1 for 27 before he got hurt. So again, we talk about the pressure initially at the start of the season being compared to Andrew Jones, and then just not performing at the level that he probably was thinking that he was going to, or the team was thinking he was going to. So I'm certainly not saying that Cristian Pache is not the center fielder of the future for the Braves. I'm just saying it may be a little longer than what we expected.
Well, we're not going to get into this, but the Braves now have an opening in their outfield.
Yes, they do, and should have for a while.
Yeah. And I know right now they're making it work because you have Ender there. You have the name that I can't pronounce. You have Acuna, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you see
Drew Waters,
Cristian Pache or Drew Waters fitting into that role?
I think now Drew Waters is healthy.
But is Drew Waters playing well enough to get the call?
Sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes it's just timing. I got my fifth call-up ever was due to back-to-back rainouts in Philadelphia, and they needed pitching, and I was the last guy on the 40-man. And then I had a 13-year Major League season career.
My guy. So
I'm going to go with, right now, Drew Waters is an option. I also think that Alex Anthopoulos is doing everything that a GM can possibly do to look at other options and see what is available. But it's, again, early-ish. I'm not going to say it's early because it's not early anymore. It's early-ish. And there's still time. They're 3.5 games back. So Mets aren't exactly the 2013 Los Angeles Dodgers that went 42-8. This is, everyone seems to be scuffling. So I still think there's time to turn this around. I just think it needs to happen quickly, and I don't think we can wait for the draft.
I'll be interested to see when this episode comes out. Will already be 2 games, but this week could be very interesting for the NL East. The top 2 spots between the Mets and Atlanta, because Atlanta has the Nats. Mm-hmm. And the Mets have the Diamondbacks. So the Mets obviously have the easier slate of games there, and we'll see if the Mets capitalize on that. And if, the Nats aren't playing well at all. They've lost 4 straight as of right now. They're 21-28. So it'll be interesting to see how those 2 series play out. The Braves and the Mets were rained out a ton this week. So
if you want to just look at the last 10 of all those teams, right? No one's 6-4, 5-5, 3-7, 5-5, 4-6. So there's no 8-2s, there's no 9-1s. It's just everybody's playing mediocre baseball.
Yeah. Let's move into our top 10 prospects of the week. Once again, curated by Maddie Mass. It is brought to you by Dugout Mugs. Mm-hmm. You know that we love these things. You know that we show you a close-up every week of the woodwork. I drink out of it every day. These things are really cool. Peter has a Braves. I have a Farm to Fame. They are still running that Father's Day campaign. According to Peter, we're still in the month of May right now, but we're going to be in June on Wednesday. So Father's Day is June 20th.
That's not according to me. That's according to the calendar and Jesus.
So the Father's Day campaign, they are running it, but like Father's Day is June 20th. So hop on it. The first 300 orders with the code Farm to Fame will get 35% off of these mugs. You can get, they have, I don't know what the word is. They have partnerships with all 30 teams. So you can get like any of the 30 teams on the mugs. You can get pictures on there. So like if Peter and I had a selfie together, I could get that selfie put onto one of these mugs. They also don't just have these size mugs. They have shot glasses. They have bottle openers. They have like wine glasses.
Mm-hmm.
They have a ton of stuff, and it's made out of real bats. They have insulated my iced coffee. These are just very well done. Very, very pretty. Good gift.
I told you, my wife
Liked it.
not a huge sports chick.
Yeah.
I guess is the word I'm looking for. She was muy impressed with this. Muy impressed. Muy.
So it's a great Father's Day gift. If you have birthdays coming up, I'm a big gift giver. That is my love language and how I send out love. And I like to get ahead with gifts because I get stressed out if I wait until last minute. So like technically.
No, you don't get stressed out, do you?
That's my baseline. Technically, if you have a birthday coming up in the next couple of months, you have to get a gift for, you can use the Father's Day special code Farm to Fame and get 35% off of it, because I think after Father's Day, this code's going to be gone. So if you have any things that you need to get gifts for coming up for a baseball fan or non-baseball fans, boyfriends, husbands, fathers, wives, girlfriends, coworkers, coaches, little league coaches, graduation gifts.
Yeah.
These are super cool. They're super well done. They're super high quality. And you can get 35% off with the code Farm to Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Top 10 prospects. Peter,
Let's
do you want to
into it.
start or do you want me to start?
I can start. My guy had a pretty good, Brought to you by Matty Mass. You're not going to find this anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find this on this show only. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the internet. You can scour the top 10 lists. You're going to see the same names.
Yep.
Okay. What you get here is weekly performances, non-biased opinion. Okay. My first guy, Cal Raleigh. He is a catcher for the Tacoma Rainiers. And for the week, he had 10 hits. But that's impressive, right? Yeah. Great. Congratulations. 10 hits. In 19 games this year, there has been a total of 2 games where he hasn't got a hit.
Wow.
For the season, go Matty.
And he walked one of those. So 1 game without being on base.
1 game without being on base.
Jeez.
So for the season, our boy Cal is hitting .351 with 5 home runs and 18 stakes and a 1.099 OPS. So Cal.
He's also on a 3-game home run streak, I think.
Oh, sorry about it.
When you said Tacoma, it made me think of Taylor Trammell, and I'm just curious about what he's.
Taylor Trammell didn't have his best week, but it's also not his best week for Taylor Trammell. So it's still a good week.
Yeah, he had 3 hits. He's hitting 382 still. Yeah.
Is that kind of like? So I get told sometimes that I kind of look like Ryan Reynolds, and I
can see that.
I run with that hard.
Run with it.
So
sprint with it.
When you have a not Taylor Trammell week, it's still a good week. So for me, if I kind of look like Ryan Reynolds, it's still a good
You
week.
are Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you.
Tyler Freeman.
Ooh.
Indians. He's in AA for the Indians. He's a shortstop, and he's Cleveland's number 2 prospect, drafted 71st overall by Cleveland in 2017. He has a hit in every game this season, just like you said about Cal, except for 2 games.
Wow.
He's hitting, this is like he had essentially the same week as Cal. He's hitting .370 with 6 doubles and 13 RBI. He has 10 hits this week. 14 hits in his last 8 games. And what I like about Tyler Freeman is obviously he's having an incredible week, but he's done this in the minors at every level he's been at. He has a career .323 batting average in minor league baseball. So 2017 rookie ball, he hit .297. 2018 A ball short season, he hit .352. 2019 2 levels of A ball, he hit .306. So he lives above 300, which is beautiful. And
Good
he had
last
a good
name
week
too.
Yeah. 10 hits this week. So Good for Tyler Freeman with the Cleveland Indians.
Well done, Max Meyer. Max Meyer is the Fish Who Pish newest addition. He's 2020 first round pick, 3rd overall, 2-1 with a 1.96, 23 innings, 22 punch outs, and a 1.04 whip for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. All right. So he's given up 2 hits in his last 8 1/3 innings of work. And this is just another one to add to the Miami Marlins list of people who can throw baseballs quite well.
Did you say what his season ERA is?
His season ERA is 1.96 in 5 games, 5 starts.
Wow.
So he's not blowing
That's
people away. He's not
good.
punching everyone out. He's still doing a really good job. And for a guy that's first real sniff of pro ball, it's an adjustment period that he seems to have adjusted quite well to.
Yeah. Okay. Way to go, Max Meyer. I was trying to look up his. It says his MLB ETA is 2021.
Maybe.
Anyway, Addison Barger, Barger. Barger, Blue Jays shortstop, low A. Okay. 6th round draft pick by the Jays in 2018. He's hitting .329 with 4 home runs, 19 RBI, and a 1.1 OPS this season. He hit for the cycle on Friday. Not only did he hit for the cycle, for good measure, he hit 2 home runs in that game. So he went 5 for 5, 2 home runs, triple, double, single, 7 RBI.
Wow.
And 3 runs in that one game. 12 hits this week and 23 ABs. For those of you who don't want to do the math, we did it for you because we are an official math pod certified by the Math Board of Education. He is hitting .522 this week. He's also riding a 5-game hit streak. His last 4 games have been multi-hit games. Only 4 games this season without a hit.
And in this 5-game hit streak, he has a double every game, including one game with 2 doubles.
Addison Barger.
This was my number 1 prospect of the week, because coming into the week, he was hitting .245 and he's raised that to .329.
Dang.
And being an everyday guy, it's not like we're talking about, 20 at bats. He's has a ton of at bats this season.
Wow.
Good week.
I mean, 12 hits and 23 at bats this week. So Addison Barger, Blue Jays, low A, shortstop, crushing it. Your turn.
Speaking of shortstops, quite possibly the coolest name if you're a fan of gangster movies like I am, but Marco Luciano. Mm-hmm. He's not from Italy. He's from the Dominican Republic. He's the Giants' number 1 prospect. He got off to a slow-ish start and has turned it around this week. 9 hits this week, including a span where he went 7 for 11 in a 3-game span during the week. So he had an 0 for at the start of the week, he had an 0 for at the end of the week, but he caught fire in the middle of the week and showed why he is the number 1 prospect.
Big weekday guy.
Big weekday guy. So shout out to you for a surprising and wonderful week for you and proving why you're the number 1 prospect in the Giants organization. Another shortstop, by the way.
Speaking of shortstops, Wander Franco. AAA for the Rays, like we said, also a shortstop. Dude has a .328 average in his minor league career. He's obviously a switch hitter. He's obviously the top prospect in baseball. 80 grade hit tool, 60 grade power. He didn't have a phenomenal week. He did. He went 6 for 17, but then he went 0 for 4 Sunday. But so he went 6 for 17 without Sunday included. He had 2 multi-hit games. The biggest story that came out about him this week is he obviously has not played in the show yet. And he had a baseball card sold for $200K at an auction. Yeah. Wild.
Matty, you're into baseball cards. Would you pay $200,000 for a Wander Franco baseball card right now?
If money wasn't.
So Kelsey's buying.
Yes.
Your baseball card. Would you spend $200K on someone who hasn't made it to the big leagues yet? I think we had this discussion before.
Yes.
You'd rather have. Would you really?
So this Wander Franco is a very unique exception here, just because he's been the number 1 prospect now 2 years in a row, And like Kelsey says,
But what does that say? What does that say if you've been the number one prospect for two straight years?
That the Rays hate you and won't bring you up.
That's what I'm saying.
So regardless, though, obviously would have to think on a $200,000 purchase.
No, but I'm buying.
But the fact that your really big cards are selling for $4 million, I wouldn't be too concerned about 200K. That's assuming that it's like, I don't know what card it was, so I'd assume it's a 1/1 auto first Bowman. But yeah,
What's card sold for $4 million?
Trout.
Really? So it wasn't even like a Honus Wagner. It was a Trout.
Yeah, Trout's like Bowman 1/1 auto sold for over $4 million.
Jeez.
I just don't understand the I get a couple of thousand, couple of 100,000 on a really rare one. I just don't see, people have too much money. It's effectively what this is.
So I mean, I don't understand. I know that it's like a 1/1, but
what is it? It's a 1/1 cardboard. I can make a 1/1 of what I can go over.
I think you're really pissing off some card people right now, Peter. And Matty Mass, I don't think you should cut this out because cards are a big thing right now. They stopped selling them at Target because people are fighting.
I'm not trying to piss people off. I'm just bringing a bit of reality into this. I have a piece of cardboard over there that is in the shape of a box, which is holding my jerseys, right? So if I was to cut a piece of square out of that and have Mike Trout sign it, it's 1/1. What's the difference between that and a picture of him that is 1/1 that he happens to have signed? They're both cardboard.
Yeah, credit to Bowman and Topps. I mean, the argument here is that in 70 years, when Mike Trout is undisputably,
it's still a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, but Mike Trout's undisputably the best player of all time. Then you have the only piece of cardboard that was made by Topps and
right. And guess what? In 70 years' time, you might be able to fold that up and put it under a table to stop it from rocking.
Sure.
Ooh.
Peter, not a card guy.
Not a card guy. And cards are a big deal right now. Peter, it's your turn.
Okay. Casey Mize. Casey Mize. Yep. This is the tale of two Caseys. Okay. Let me tell you a little story. Went 1/1 out of Auburn University. I can't say Auburn right, so I got to say it with like Auburn. Shout out Tim Hudson. Took me to my first ever college football game. LSU versus Auburn in Auburn.
Ooh.
That was so an awesome time. But yeah, so in March, April, Casey was 1-3 with a 5.06 in 5 games through 26 innings, gave up 27 hits and 15 runs. That is a 1.388 whip for the months of March and April. Okay. Now we go to May, which we're still in, by the way, according to Jesus. He's 2-0 with a 1.74 ERA in 5 games, 31 innings, 17 hits, 6 runs. That's good enough for a .871 whip. Talk about a tale of two Caseys. Way to turn it around. Way to show that the Detroit Tigers know what their scouting department is doing. Congratulations. Well done, Casey Mize.
Good for him, man. Drafted in 2018, pitching in the show.
Yep.
Okay. Speaking of shortstops.
Yes, we were.
Orlando Arcia, Bravo's AAA.
Goodness gracious.
This week he was 7 for 27. He had 7 hits. He had 1 home run, 2 doubles, 4 RBI, 2 walks. I think the biggest thing to note about him, 2 big things to note about him this season. Backstory on him, he came over to the Braves from the Brewers in trade for Patrick Weigel and Chad Sabatka this season, which has been kind of funny for the Brewers. But this season, he's hitting .313 with 8 home runs, 16 RBI, 1 dot OPS, like literally 1.000 OPS. In 23 games this season, his 8 home runs are good for second in all of minor league baseball this year, I believe. His 31 hits are 3rd best in minor league baseball. But Peter.
Yes, Kelsey.
He only has 10 strikeouts all year.
Wow.
And he has 11 walks.
Nice.
So he has more walks than strikeouts. He was hitting 344 before going 0 for on Saturday and Sunday. But he's put together a good season, which should be expected because he is a big league shortstop who's stuck in AAA right now. And I'll be curious. I think I saw Snit came out and said that like they are not going to put Austin Riley in left. But if worse comes to worst in the outfield situation, Orlando Arcia can play third if you need to move Austin to left.
I'd hate that for Austin. Just
because you don't get him out of the flow what he's doing right now.
Just keep him. He's coming into his own. He's starting to really feel comfortable. And look, Chipper did it. Chipper went out to left field for a year. Austin did it a couple of years ago, maybe last year. But Austin's kind of struggled. And I think now that he's doing what he's doing, I would much prefer them to leave him right there. But sometimes you don't get to make choices like that. Sometimes it's your hand gets forced. Injuries and other things may be one of those things that forces someone's hand here. But yeah, congratulations to Orlando Arcia. Well done to you. Cade Cavalli.
Big three.
Big part of the big three with the Washington Nationals. 2020 first round, 22nd overall. On the season, he is 2-1 with a 1.63 in 5 games, 27 innings, 19 hits, 5 home runs, and 45 punch-outs. 4 out of his 5 games have been amazing. The other game, he gave up 4 runs, but he did punch out 12 guys. So it's
not even terrible. I mean, it's not great.
But 6 innings, 4 runs, like it looks like an ERA buster. But in the 4 other games, has been fantastic. And 3 days ago, he was up to 96, 97 miles per hour in the 6th inning. So big, strong power arm, big, strong power guy. Part of the big three, as we mentioned, the Nationals prospects, pitching prospects that we talked about in the earlier episode.
All over 6'4". All those three guys.
6'4". Yeah. And not shrinking, by the way.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Cade Cavalli. Well done. And while I'm here, I just want to quick honorable mention, Bobby Witt Jr., 3 home runs in a game. Obviously, Royals, massive prospect, had a huge spring training, has had a good week and a bad week and a good week, but turned it around Sunday with a 3-homer game, his first 3-homer game of his career, young career. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. had a really slow start to the season. He entered into Sunday hitting 209 with 30 strikeouts in 21 games. That's not great, folks. But he has, as we record this on Monday, he has hit safely in 8 of his last 11. Like Peter said, 3 home runs on Sunday. He reached base 4 times in that game because he drew a walk and another AB, and he hit a home run on Saturday. So he had 4 home runs and 5 at-bats. So Bobby Witt Jr., maybe he's heating up. We saw stuff about him at the start of the season. Was he going to be up in the show this year? We shall see. Peter says no.
I say no.
My last guy, we're diving deeper into the college world. If you haven't heard the name Kevin Kopps, now you have.
Now I have.
He won SEC Pitcher of the Year.
Should probably know that.
He plays for Arkansas, who, like we said, just won the SEC tournament.
And for those who don't know, SEC Pitcher of the Year means beating out Kumar
and Leiter.
Yeah.
Arkansas is currently #1 in the country, which really took me by surprise. They're always good at baseball, but like not better than like your Vanderbilts, your LSU's. So he won SEC Pitcher of the Year. He had 2 appearances in the SEC tournament this week. The first appearance was versus Vanderbilt in the 3rd round, and he pitched 3 innings of perfect ball in relief. Now, there's a lot about this guy. So
start at the top. Let's hear it all.
Okay. He's 10-0 and he has 10 saves. So it is believed that he has posted the first double-double season in wins and saves in college baseball history.
I've never even heard of that. Like Smoltzy had 150 wins and 150 saves, which was incredible. Eckersley did the same thing, like lots of wins, lots of saves. But to do it in 1 year?
Yeah. So all but one of his saves this season have been multi-inning saves, and 5 of them, or now I guess 6 of them after yesterday, have been 3 innings, and another one was 4 innings. So in my mind, and also if you look at his repertoire, he reminds me a lot of Josh Hader.
Okay.
He also is from Sugar Land, Texas, which is your girl's hometown. 2A1, baby. He went to George Rance High School, which wasn't in existence when I was in high school. But he has an ERA of 0.81 in 28 games. Yes, sir.
How many starts has he made this year?
I don't think he's started one game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But he is, I think, second on the team in innings pitched as a reliever.
Okay.
And he has a 0.81 ERA, which is the best in all NCAA. The second closest guy is Alabama State's Peyton Harris at 129.
How many innings did he throw this year?
66 and a third with 105 strikeouts and 15 walks.
Wow.
Opponents are hitting 151 against him. Both of his appearances in the SEC tournament this week were 3 innings. So he pitched 6 innings total and gave up 1 run, no walks, and 8 Ks. He pitched against Vanderbilt and Tennessee. In that perfect appearance versus Vanderbilt, he threw 28 pitches and 22 of them were strikes. Faced the minimum, obviously. And they won the tournament. And he was a big piece of that. What's interesting about him is he's like not projected to go super uber high in the draft. And he was the best pitcher in the SEC this year. And I saw one article that had him going in the top 230 guys. So I guess that equates to essentially top 10 round.
We only have 5 rounds now. Well, have they expanded that to 10?
Oh, good. Well, whatever 230 is. But
so he's not projected to go like top 5. He's not even in. How do you beat out Rocker and Leiter for pitch of the year? Is his stuff just not there? I got to find out more about this guy.
It is a very interesting. I spent so many minutes yesterday trying to get like a mock draft that had him.
Anywhere?
I couldn't find him really in any article besides the one that had him projected to go in the top 230 picks.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. The first guy in college baseball history that they think had a double-double season and wins and saves.
I assumed that he started on the weekend and came in and closed and just happened to get 10 saves when he came in and closed midweek. But he's a reliever that won 10 games and got 10 saves. But I guess threw more than obviously just 1 inning every time he went out there. So is he like a deploy when you need him guy? It seems like, I don't know what his role is. Is he the closer or?
He closes a lot of games, obviously, but he just reminds me they use him like they use Josh Hader.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has no starts this year, and he pitched in 28 games total, 10 saves, 66 and a third innings pitched. The whole season gave up 6 runs, 105 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean, he's like really good. We'll see how they do in like I said, they're the top team in college baseball. So it'll be very interesting to see if they make it to Omaha and what he does there. So that is Kevin Kopps from Sugar Land, Texas.
My quick question for you. Okay, before I get into my Aussie slang, do you want to touch on Ke'Bryan Hayes? We didn't touch on Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Let me run through the rookie matchups really quick.
Okay.
Rookie matchups of the week. Tyler Stevenson, who we brought up a couple of weeks ago, hit the Cubs rookies really well. So he had a double and a walk off of Adbert Azalea and 2 RBI double off of Keegan Thompson. Tyler Stevenson, go off 1 time. I need to be able to pronounce this name because I believe it's a Louisiana name. John Duplantier.
You're looking at the wrong person if you want explanations.
Ooh, ask your wife. Held Cardinals rookies to nothing. So he faced Edmundo Sosa, Justin Williams, and Dylan Carlson, and they went 0 for 6 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Bobby Dahlbeck, 1 for 3 off of Trevor Rogers with an RBI single, 2 strikeouts.
Bobby Dahlbeck.
And Yermin, solo home run off of Bruce Zimmerman. So those were our rookie matchups of the week. Injuries to update you on. You already brought up Cristian Pache. Zach McKinstry for the Dodgers was activated on Saturday along with Cody Bellinger. That was a huge boost for the Dodgers. As we record this, Zach still doesn't have a hit since he's come back, but he had an oblique injury where he missed 33 games. But as a reminder, before he was placed on the IL, he was hitting .296 with 5 doubles, 3 home runs, and 14 RBI. At the time, he was second on the team on the Los Angeles Dodgers with home runs and RBI in 17 games. Utility guy. And he looked really good in his rehab games. He hit 313. And then Ke'Bryan Hayes. Did you want to talk about that, Peter?
No, you got it. Go for it.
Ke'Bryan Hayes is expected to come back this week on Thursday. Pirates general manager Ben Cherington came out and said there's no reason to think that he wouldn't be back on Thursday. So he has been on the IL since April 4th. He's on the 60-day IL. They think he will return on Thursday versus the Marlins. That's the first day he's eligible to come off.
I kind of turned my nose up at when we talked about him last week and he's not available because of the 60-day move. But now that I'm seeing the fact that he's getting to play a few more games in AAA, and I think it's going to help us. I think he's going to hit the ground running when he comes back, instead of, maybe having to spend the first couple of weeks trying to find himself. So shout out to the Pirates medical staff for being smarter than I am. So
Ke'Bryan Hayes, we're excited to see that guy back. He was the NL favorite for Rookie of the Year going into the season. Had an incredible stint with the big league club last season. So that'll be a boost for the Pirates. Aussie lingo.
I'll give you a choice of two again. You can choose between Duna or Chewy.
Chewy.
Go. You're gonna have to start to be as specific as Matty Mass, because this is I wait every week for Matty Mass's very specific answer to my Aussie lingo numbers.
I wish you could I wish you knew what nouns were, so you could tell us what it was, or use it in the sentence, but I know that would give it away. Because it's so hard to think.
No, I'll give you a sentence.
Okay.
Is there any chance you have any chewy?
Gum.
See? Okay, Duna.
Sentence or no? Oh, yes.
It's very ironic that chewy is gum. I was just thinking, trying to be specific, and I was going to say your gums, in your mouth, was chewy.
Right. Yes.
So I was going to say gums.
Right. And I would have said that's incorrect English, but I'll give you the correct answer anyway, because if we were on a game show right now, if you said gums, they would have said that's completely wrong, but it's the right answer.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
Now let's do Duna.
Can you give us a clue?
Have you washed the Duna?
Truck.
I'm just going to stick with what I was going with before the clue. I was going to say shopping cart.
I thought you were going to say, I'm going to say gums again.
I kind of like shopping cart.
Yeah, both answers. I'm not going to say whether they're good or bad, but a Duna is a quilt. We use a Duna. It's a quilt. It's what you have on your bed. It's a comforter. I think it's a comforter. Do you have a comforter? Yeah, so that's what we call Dunas in Australia.
How do you spell it?
Do you not have a clue?
Duna.
Maybe D. Maybe DOONA, and I'll throw an H in there just because.
But you can't. Can you also use that word for a normal blanket that you would lay on the couch with, or is it specifically?
No. Specifically the quilted, big, puffy comforter.
So kind of like a duvet, maybe.
Maybe, but not, because a duvet is. I think I don't know why a duvet seems very proper. I feel like it's not something that an Australian should say.
Yeah, I've never owned a duvet.
Does anybody have a duvet? You know
so chewy?
Yes.
Which is gum, which makes sense, and Duna.
Duna.
All
you know
right,
where I'm getting all these from? Just real quick, I'm getting all these from my wife, because the first time she came to Australia, she was like, she spent most of her time going, what are these people talking about? So it's been good.
We love her. All righty. That is this week's episode, folks. Hope you learned something. Hope you're looking out for Kevin Kopps in Omaha. Hope you're looking out for Ke'Bryan Hayes, who is expected to come back on Thursday. Bobby Witt Jr. is his home run streak going to continue? We don't know. Work chewy and Duna into your vocabulary this week.
You're welcome.
We love you. Farm on, farm often, code FARM, farm to fame on all of the things.
Everything. Just try it. Even if you don't know whether they sponsor us or not. If you want to try our code, Just go to any shop and see what happens when you put it in.
There you go.
Never know.
There you go. All righty. We love y'all. Have a great week full of baseball. We love you.